So welcome to our weekly training call. I am very excited to be here with you guys tonight. I just, it is such an exciting time to be in this business, you guys. I've had several conversations, several meetings over the last couple of weeks with some executives in different industries, insurance, real estate, inside of mortgage business, accountants, and they are spending a tremendous amount of time talking about AI, building moats around their business and trying to figure out how to protect themselves in a changing world. And this is the crazy thing, you guys. Everyone is predicting in the next 3 to 5 years, there is going to be way less jobs. And a lot of companies are worried, what does that mean? And so they're really, really focused on the AI stuff. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about the one business I know that AI cannot replace. I had a long conversation with an executive of another direct sales company last week, and I know that they can't replace our business. They can't replace this direct sales channel, this network marketing. And why is that? Because this business, you guys, is still built through human connection. There's no AI that can replace the human connection. It's built through conversations. There's no AI that's going to be able to converse with a relationship like we have. It's also built through relationships. AI is not going to build a relationship with you. It's built through people we know, people that we meet, people that we care about, people that we serve every day. And AI, you guys, can do a lot of things, but it cannot replace belief. It might be able to talk about facts, but conviction and passion, AI cannot do that. It cannot replace the heart. It cannot replace trust. A lot of people are going to be wondering. A lot of people say that AI lies to you. And it cannot replace the power of one human being looking for another human being in the eye and saying, I believe this can help you. So I have always felt for the last 7 years of being in this business that God always puts me in places I need to be. I believe everyone should talk to a therapist, and we all have things that we've had in our life to bring us better, to control our minds, to manage our minds. And I remember talking to my therapist recently, and he asked me a question about business because I had some stresses. I had a lot of things going on. A lot of things were going right. Some things were going wrong. And he said, what is one thing that you say to yourself always? And I always say, like, the universe always looks out for me, no matter what. God always looks out for me. No matter what, he always puts me in the right situations. Even though at the time it doesn't feel like it's the exact right situation, I'm always in the right situation. It always ends up working out. Like, I remember when I was right out of the Air Force at 21 years old, I wanted to be a stay-at patrolman, I thought. And things happened, and that didn't happen. And it was just a very down time in my life. And I thought this was my destiny. And then God brought me to something else. And when I look back on that, I'm like, oh my God, what if I would have ended up a stay-at patrolman? Where would I be today? He always puts me in the right place. The universe always puts me in the right place. And I was again validated the last week as to why I am here. Because this is a safe place. There's a lot of people that don't know about this industry, that don't know about this product, that might be out of a job, that might be stressed right now, they might be getting cut back. There's so many people out there looking for an opportunity to add another stream of income or maybe have a new career. But it also made me think about how many people I can actually give this gift to. The only thing that we really can control in our lives, you guys, is creating multiple streams of income. We have a gift to offer. This is a gift. And I want to challenge you guys tonight not to keep it a secret. No matter how many people have said no to you, no matter how many people have left your business, no matter how many people haven't had success in your business, don't keep this business a secret. We should not sit on something that can help people physically, it can help people financially, it can help people emotionally, it can help people mentally. If you really believe we have something special, then sharing it is not pressure, you guys. Sharing it is an actual service. We need to serve. So what I want to discuss with you tonight is how to handle rejection and all of the no's, as well as how to follow up with those no's effectively. The other thing I want to talk about is how to ask for referrals. Referrals from current customers, referrals from the no's, as well as referrals from people who've given up on your business. And then I want to end tonight with what I believe is 95% of our success in business and in life. And that is how you manage this every single day. And then I want to leave it open if we have some time for some questions. So if you have some questions, write them down. And I want to get to those at the very end. So let's get to the first topic, you guys. Let's get into this. Handling no. As you guys know, we talk about the 2-10-1, which means if you talk to 2 people every day, and before I get into this, I just want to say, whenever I talk to people that aren't having results, the first question I ask them is, are you talking to 2 people every day? Well, I mean, if you're not talking to 2 people intentionally every single day about this product, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. If you're not doing it 5 days a week, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. 2 a day, 2 10, 15-minute conversation max. If you're talking longer than that, you're talking too long. You're going to talk to 10 people every single week. And one of those is going to become a brand partner. 2 of them are going to become customers. Remember, I'm going to meet people where they are, not where I want them to be, because that's the most effective way to build relationships with people. But what that also means is that 7 out of those 10 people are going to say, no, I'm not interested. They're going to say in some way, some shape, some form, they're going to reject your proposal. So if we already know this going into the conversation, that no is a part of the process. But the question I have is, why does it affect us so much? And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about everybody in the world. The no word, which is usually the first word that everyone learns, affects us very heavily. Well, what I would like to do is I would like that to change tonight. I want to manage this differently. Because a no doesn't mean you're not good enough. You're not good enough about talking about this business. A no doesn't mean they're rejecting you. A no doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, get on our testimonial calls on Wednesdays. The testimonials are amazing. If you need revalidation of does this product work, get on those calls. A no often just means not now, not yet, not enough information, not the right timing, not the right level of pain yet, or not enough belief yet, or I don't have mental space to even think about this right now. But when people start losing their jobs, they're going to think about the conversation that you're having. A lot of people in this business and many other businesses where you're offering a product or a service, they get emotionally attached to the outcome that they cannot control. When I play golf, one of the biggest lessons my coach gave me is you cannot be attached to the outcome of every shot. Understand that pros miss 80% of their shots. But your job is not to control the outcome. Your job is to control the activity. Your job is not to make everybody say yes. Your job is to share, it's to sort, it's to serve, and it's to stay in motion every single day. When you truly start to understand that no is a part of the math, it loses its power over your emotions. You have to stop personalizing the process. Just like my golf coach said, you know how to swing the golf club. You know what to do. So forget about that shot. And then when you get over the next shot, think about what you got to do this shot. When you get in the next conversation, think about how that conversation needs to go. If I told you ahead of time, which I'm doing right now, people are going to say no. 7 people are going to say no. But one person is going to change a week. What if that one person changes your finances? What if that one person changes your confidence? What if that one person changes your future? You know, you could have one person in this business that you're making $5,000, $6,000 a week off of. One person. And a lot of people are like, oh, this doesn't work. And they give up right before they hit that one person. That's that superstar. What if I told you that person's right around the corner? Now listen, I'm not telling anybody on this call that you have to do this and only this. Matter of fact, I would highly suggest that you don't. I would even highly suggest that when you're making $100,000 a month in this business, that this is not the only thing that you do. Multiple streams of income are the only thing that you can control. So if you're doing this along other things, that's good. But segment your day. Spend 30 minutes. Spend 45 minutes. Spend an hour. But don't just give up on it, because you might be that one person away. You might be that next yes away from changing your life forever. Or you might be that one yes from changing someone else's life forever. And that is way more rewarding when you do that. That is why consistency matters so much, you guys. Because people who win in this business are not people who avoid rejection. They are the people that become bigger than rejection. They are the people who understand that every no is one step closer to, get this, listen to this very clearly, to the right yes. I have been in this business a year and a half. Everyone on this call has been in this business less than that. A year and a half is no amount of time to say this works or this doesn't work. A year and a half into my insurance business, I was broke. I wasn't making any money. A year and a half into any business is not an indication, does this work or does it not? Everyone on this call uses this device because they know it works. That's why they wear it every day. That's why we have it on every day. That's why I have it on every single day. No one sees this on the back of my neck. I wear one under my whoop. No one sees that. I wear this because I believe in this project. They are the people who refuse to let temporary emotion, because the rejection, the no, that's a temporary emotion that interrupts your permanent vision. When I get on the testimonial call, I'm just always reminded, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is so life-changing to so many people. I don't let the no interrupt my permanent vision. I know what my vision is. I know what this device is going to do. I know when this movie comes out and this becomes mainstream, I'm at the right place at the right time. So when someone says no, don't collapse emotionally. Do not disappear. Do not tell yourself a story that is not true, because most of failure comes from stories in our head that we tell ourselves over and over and over again. That's not true. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at talking to people. I'm shy. People don't trust me. Whatever the things that you say in your head are untrue. Instead, stay posture driven, stay professional, stay detached from the outcome of the golf shot or the no, while you become fully committed to the mission. And the mission is to build a business and help people. And that is why we have to build emotional stamina, you guys. If you don't have emotional stamina, you're going to crumble. You cannot build a big business if you're going to give up after a year and a half, after 3 years. If your feelings are controlling your actions, you're not going to have the future that you want. And guess what? This is the thing. If you do it here, you're going to do it in the next thing, because there is nothing that is easy. Nothing great is easy. You cannot build a big business if your feelings are controlling your actions. And I would tell you, everyone on here, Your future is way too important for that. Your calling. You're here. God called you here. The universe brought you here for a very important reason. Your family is too important to that. So I want to share with you a couple slides just to give you, I like to give visuals to people because visuals people remember. So I like to share some slides sometimes when I am speaking. So let me just share a couple slides with you guys so you guys can take this home with you. So what most people focus on, like I said earlier, is the no's. They don't focus on the one yes or the two yeses or the three yeses. And like I said, no doesn't equal no. It just means not right now. It's just bad timing. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with you. It takes a lot of times 5 to 8 contacts to get someone to come into this business. And so this is the numbers, you guys. This is the pure numbers. And this is split up 30, 30, 40, which is 100%, right? So there's 30% of people that are going to take some pretty immediate action. Now, 50% of that 30 is going to take a little bit longer than the first 15%. I'm an adapter. I see AI, I'm going to learn it. A new device comes out, I'm going to learn it. A new iPhone comes out, I'm going to get it. New computer comes out, new technology, I'm going to adapt it because I don't want to be left behind. And the reason why is because my dad doesn't do any of that. And I see how behind he is. That's the first 30% of people. Now the middle 30% of people, they're kind of wait and see. Let me see what happens. Let me see how this works out for you. These are the people that you're going to have to follow up with 5, 7, 8, 9 times. Then there's another 40% of the population. You know, I know, everyone knows they're never doing anything. They're never changing. They're never adapting. It doesn't matter what happens. The world could blow up and they're going to still believe the same thing that they've always believed and they're not going to take action. And so what I want you to do when you talk to people is figure out where these people go. Are they in the first 30%? Are they in the second 30%? Are they in the 40%? I'm going to focus all of my energy on the first 30%. But I'm going to focus 80% of my time on the first 30% of people that are going to do something. I'm going to focus my other 20% in my follow-ups, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, on the middle 30%. But it's going to be a lot less time. I'm going to spend 20% of my time on that middle class. And I'm spending 0% of my time on the 40% that I know aren't going to do anything. You know where they fit. We just have to be disciplined enough to put them in there, right? So follow up. You guys, what I focus on the 7 no's is they just go into my follow-up. No to me doesn't exist. In my head, I have 100% close rate. At some point, I'm going to close you. At some point, you're going to come into this business. And I'm going to follow up with you until you do. Now, how do I keep track of these follow-ups? This is the key, you guys. This is the number one thing. When you hang up the phone with someone, most of us, besides my father, has a phone that has a calendar on it. And most of us have a button on the side where that phone will put on my calendar without me writing anything down, information. So if I push this button right now and I say, follow up with Andreas tomorrow at 2 p.m. to talk about the device, but bring up her kids in college and the vacation she's going on this summer. And then I let go of that button. It's already put Friday, April 10th, what to follow up with to talk to this person. Okay? Now, this is how I manage my business. And when I hang up, I do that. I want to follow up with them, not talking about the device. The only reason I put on my calendar to talk about the device, she's still talking to me. The only reason that I put this on my calendar is because I want to talk about her vacation and I want to talk about her job. I want to talk about the things that we talked about. Her girl going to college, all of those things. But if you don't have a system on your calendar that is there for you to follow up in 60 days, 90 days, you're not going to do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to challenge you. If you're going to call 2 people every single day, put them on your calendar tonight, who you're going to call tomorrow. Make a commitment on your calendar when you're going to do it. Call people at the same time every single day. If it's during lunch because you know people will pick up your call during lunch. If it's at 5 o'clock at night because you know people are driving home, call them at 5 o'clock at night. But make sure you're committed, but make sure it's on your calendar and you use your calendar. Now, when I call someone up that I've talked to, how do I bring it up? How do I talk to them? What's the conversation look like? This is going to be recorded. You can go back to this and listen to this, okay? Now, how I bring up the device is I don't bring it up, you guys. What I do is I follow up on the conversation that we had last. If you follow up with bringing up the device in the first conversation, this is what's going to happen to you. They're not going to take your calls anymore because they're going to think the only thing that you care about is selling them a device. So I don't talk about the device. Now, what happens is I ask them what we talked about last time. How was vacation? How's your daughter being away at school? How's being an empty nester? How was vacation? How's your job going? Last time you told me, if you could change one thing about it, did you ever have that conversation with your boss? And what happens is they're going to ask you, if you did a good job of explaining what this device is and what the opportunity is, they're going to say, hey, how's that stem cell device that you were talking about? How's that going? And that's when you are able to talk about it. That's when you're saying, oh my God, Susan, you know what? I forgot that I even talked to you about that. I'm not even sure what I told you because, it was 60 days ago. My memory is not that good. But whatever I told you, multiply that by 1,000,000. This thing has changed my life more than anything has ever changed my life before. I can't believe the lives that I'm changing. I can't believe the transformations people are having. It's absolutely amazing. And now you're back into the conversation. But if you're going to follow up effectively, do not bring this up. Because if you do, you're going to affect the relationship. And this is what I want you guys to remember. You're not bothering people. There's a lot of people, when I talk to them about their activity, they're like, I just feel like I'm bothering people. Understand, you're probably one of the most important people that have ever come into their life. And if you can have that conviction and believe that this conversation is blessing them and not bothering them, everything will change. They're going to hear you different. They're going to feel you different. They're going to see you different. And this is the thing. Nobody knows what you're supposed to say. The only way you get good at this conversation is to continue to have this conversation. And you're going to get better and better and better at it. It's just like social media. I don't feel confident doing videos. The more you do the videos, the more confident you're going to get doing the videos. And this is what I also tell you. The only way to get good at anything is to be bad first. Doesn't matter. Whatever you start, however you're getting into it, you're not going to be great. And it's okay. The more you do it, the better you're going to be. And this is what I will tell you guys. If you do this follow-up method, if you retrain your brain, if you do it for a week, you're going to gain clarity. If you do it for a month, you're going to start to gain confidence. And if you do this for a year, at the end of next year, you're going to have a completely different life. Now, I just want to go over something really, really quick with you when it comes to numbers, okay? I want to go through the numbers with you guys with this 2-10-1 because this is the astronomical thing. I just want to bring this home, okay? If you have, after a year, if you bring in one person a week, it's a huge celebration, you guys. If you get one person a week, at the end of the year, you have 52 people. If you get those 50, if you get half of that 52 to do the same thing that you did, but they get one person, that's 26 people. That's 1,352 brand partners in your organization. It's double that for customers. Your first year volume with 1,352 of 148 volume per person is $189,000 of volume. That is a 2-star executive in your business. You are a 2-star executive after a year. Now, if you take that 1352 and you duplicate, that's why they teach duplication in this, and you only get half of them to do it. At 26, the 26 number, they only get half of one person a year. They get a person every other month. That's 35,000 brand partners in your business. That's a $5 million volume business. That's $60 million a year that you're bringing in. That's a 3-star presidential. That's a $50,000 a week income. That's why consistency is so important. It's so important, you guys. So now the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is something that is not talked about enough in direct sales at all. And that is referrals. No one talks about referrals. Matter of fact, in the insurance space, no one talked about referrals. I had a conversation. I have an insurance office here in Miami. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story when it comes to referrals. There's an effective way to ask for referrals, and there's an ineffective way to ask for referrals. And I remember I taught my team how to ask for referrals for 15 years, and I taught them all wrong. And how I learned I taught them wrong was my tailor came into my office and asked me for a referral. But the way he did it was he slid a big pile of papers across the desk at me and said, if you would look through that pile of papers and tell me if there's anybody on there that you think that I could help. And I looked at this list, and it was all my LinkedIn friends. And I'm looking through it, and a lump comes up in my throat, and I'm completely uncomfortable. And I'm like, this guy is doing what I teach. Like, I got to find a referral. I'm like, why am I struggling with this so much? Why am I having such a hard time? And I realized I didn't know what he was going to say when he called. And so I asked him, I said, what are you going to say when you call my friend? He's like, I'm just going to say that I've been helping you dress for the last 15 years, and you thought that they would value what I do. And I was like, man, nah, that doesn't sound good. He's like, what do you mean it doesn't sound good? I was like, well, basically you're going to be calling my friends and telling them that I think they don't know how to dress and they would value what you do for me. He's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I was like, but it kind of sounds like that's what you're saying if you're calling them and saying that they need help. And he was like, well, what would you suggest that I say? And I'm like, well, what if you asked them, what if when you called them, you said that you asked me who the 5 best dressed people are that I know, and you thought that I would value what you do for me. They would value what you do for me. And he was like, I love that. I was like, you're actually calling with a compliment versus calling with me saying I don't think they can dress. And so he tried that method, and all of his business came from referrals. And he got referrals from everyone because he said, this is what I'm going to do when I call. So you have to effectively ask for referrals. Following up with customers and asking how things are going is a multi-purpose, right? If you have customers calling up and say, hey, how things going? Making sure that they're using the device right, they're drinking the water, they're wearing it consistently, they're wearing it 12 hours. And 2, it gives you the opportunity to ask them if they know anybody that could, who's the first person that pops in your brain? This is what I like to do, because when you think about it, who's the first person that pops in your brain that you think this could help as well? And then I offer in that conversation, I'll call them and I'm going to bring them in, and that's going to help you get 3 customers so that you can get your device for free. Would you like to get your device for free? Well, just give me some numbers. I'll call for you. I'll get those 3 customers in, and you'll get yours free every single month. So I also tell them when I call what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say, hey, listen, if your friend Suzanne, she's really loving this advice. She told me to reach out to you because she doesn't want to, really talk to you about this. She's not comfortable talking about it. And I asked her, do you have any friends that would like to age in reverse or have anything that they wish functioned better in their body? And she said, you would love that. And I was like, well, doesn't everyone love that? Or if they just give me a number to call someone, the way I'm going to call is, hey, your friend Susan gave me your number. She thought this device that she was using could benefit you as well, and she told me that I should give you a call. Do you have anything going on in your body right now that you would like to change? Because I have a holistic approach to something that is changing a lot of people's lives. It's simple, you guys. It's warm, it's direct, it's effective. Now, I also have people that give up in the business, right? We all have people that give up, that maybe it's not for me, or they're not consistent enough. They don't give it enough time. And I'll ask them if they had anybody on their chicken list that I could reach out to. And you'd be surprised. I have people say all the time, I'd love to see if you could close my brother. Man, he's so hard. And I love that challenge. So I'll call the brother. So don't sleep on referrals, you guys. What I will tell you is you will be surprised by how many people will give you a referral. You're not asking for 5, you're asking for 1. And that's the key point. Most people never ask because they make it too big in their mind. Like, oh my God, like I'm going to look bad, or, you're trying to sell something. No. Remember, we're blessing people. We're not bothering people. They think they're asking for too much, but you're not asking for too much. You're simply asking for one introduction, one name, one conversation, one opportunity to help someone. Remember, if you think you're selling something, then you are. If you think you're helping someone, then you are. And when you build referral system into your business, you stop depending on cold outreach or random momentum or random meetings. Referrals close at 85%. 85% referrals close. If you use someone else's name and said they said to call you because you thought that they thought you would benefit from this, it's way better than a random person on the street. I'm not saying don't add random people on the street that you meet. But when you have a connection with someone, it's a completely different conversation. You begin creating a business that feeds itself. Your customers become connectors. Some of the customers, they don't want to sell anything. But if they could get their device for free and you do the work and you call them and close them, you're helping them, you're helping you. Your no's can become bridges, you guys. Even the people who quit can still leave value behind if you know how to ask the right question. That is why a real professional does not just sell a product. A real professional builds a system, the calendar, a referral system, a system in their head to manage the no's. A real leader does not just work hard. A real leader works smarter. It duplicates faster, and it learns how to create momentum that compounds. You guys, the beautiful thing about this business is the compound effect. The more people that come in, you make money while you're sleeping, you're helping people while you're sleeping. Now, let's go to the last part. And to me, the most important part, because this is what brings everything together. And that is managing this thing between our ears. This brain of ours will lie to you constantly. It will tell us we are behind. It will tell us it's not working. It will tell us nobody is interested. It will tell us we are bothering people, not blessing people. It will tell us we need to slow down. It will tell us, man, maybe I should just quit. It will tell us stories that feel real in the moment, but I promise you are not the truth. I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to get vulnerable with you guys tonight. Because a lot of people's perception of me probably is different. And I'm human just like all of you. And I would tell you, for the last couple years, I wake up every single morning not in peace. And this is something I'm working really hard on this year to change. And I think it's one of the most beautiful gifts that I can give myself and give my family. And I know why this happens, you guys. And it's because we all love certainty. But certainty doesn't exist, you guys. The moment you feel certainty in your life is the moment life will change things up on you. The moment you get comfortable, the moment you think, all right, I'm good. I don't need to work harder. I don't need to make more money. I don't need to have another stream of income. I don't need to love my wife as much as I should. I don't need to show my wife. I don't need to show my kids. I don't need to be as present. So the sooner you realize this, the more peace you're going to live with. And again, I'm teaching you what I'm working on. Because this thing right here can take control. Now, this is what I also know. I'm getting older, right? I mean, I'm 2/3 of the way through my life. The older you get, the tougher this gets, the tougher it gets to manage your brain. I didn't worry about this when I was 35 years old. But the older you get, you start to worry about your health because you don't know. I mean, listen, we start to break down. That's why I'm wearing this patch. That's why everything I put in my body, every piece of food, I don't drink alcohol. I sleep 8 hours a night because I want my health to stay good. We worry about having enough money to survive for the rest of our life after we stop working. We worry about worst case scenarios all the time. Happens to me. But how we overcome all these fears is understand this. And this is the conversation I have with myself every single day. When I wake up in the morning and all these thoughts are racing through my mind. That 99% of these things that we worry about will never, ever happen. And once you understand that, then you realize that we are in control of more than we think. And if something happens that's uncomfortable, because that's what we worry about, is getting outside of our comfort zone. What if, then this, and then that, and then our brains just take over. But if something happens that's uncomfortable, we'll get through it. And we'll get better. But let me tell you this. Managing your mind is not a luxury. It's not optional. It's not something you do only when life is easy. And it's not something you do only when you feel inspired and motivated. It's an absolute must if you want to win in your life, in your relationships, with God, in business. Because your mind will either become your greatest asset or your greatest enemy. And I know that. That's why I'm working on this right now. Because I want peace. I want peace in my mind every single day. And it's work. It's work because I'm busy. I got 8 different businesses. I got all kinds of things going on. A lot of things could go wrong. But I have to become comfortable with understanding that's okay. And I got to make sure that my mind becomes an asset and not an enemy. If you don't manage your mind will manage you. And right now, in the morning when I wake up, my mind is managing me. That's just as vulnerable as I can possibly be. Once I get up, I'm in control. But when I wake up, my mind's in control. And I don't want that ever. If you do not direct your thoughts will direct your actions. Now, I have discipline. One thing I do have is discipline. So that's what helps me get through this peace moment in the morning, is because I know that that discipline is going to direct my action. I'm going to get up and I'm going to move. If you do not stay anchored in truth, your emotions will pull you into this fear and inconsistency, procrastination, self-doubt, excuse making. I had a conversation with someone today about a different business I'm in. And I was like, I don't feel like you're engaged. I don't feel like you're, 100% in. He's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what I hear right now? I hear excuses. Excuses. We all make excuses. You guys understand, fear lives in one place and one place only. And that's the future. It lives in the future. I'm worried about what's going to happen in the future. And that's why consistency matters. That's why discipline matters. That's why belief, most importantly, in yourself matters. And that's why action matters. If you're crippled because of fear, if you're crippled because you let your mind allow you to do that, then you're not going to take action. And consistency is what separates interested people from committed people. Bottom line. I'm interested, or are you committed? I'm interested in doing this business. I'm interested in having success in this business. Are you going to actually be committed? Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. Zig Ziglar said, motivation is like taking a bath. You need it every single day. And motivation is going to disappear. Stuff's going to happen. Your kids are going to get sick. Something's going to happen to your house and you're going to have to pay money to fix it. But if you have discipline, then you're going to constantly have motivation. And really what you want is inspiration. Inspiration is something that carries through. Inspiration is impetus. Impetus is something that rises. Motivation is just something that runs out. It's like momentum. Oh, I got momentum. And then what happens when momentum runs out? What happens when you get to the bottom of the hill? You got to have impetus to go back up, because life is going to be like this. Your mind is going to be like this. Belief is what lets you keep going before the evidence shows up. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this business is going to work. You know, like if you don't believe the business is going to work, no evidence is coming. And that action is what's going to turn your faith into results. The 2-10-1, talking to people, following up with people, not letting the no's manage you, asking for referrals, showing up to the trainings, getting your team to show up to the trainings. You know, a lot of people say they want a different life. A lot of people that I talk to. But they do not want to think differently long enough to create one. Now listen, we're all born where we're born. We're born into families that embed a belief system in us, and where we surround ourselves with people that makes us comfortable. That's just a fact of life. But I will tell you, with this group of people, there are a lot of people here that want a different life, and they're doing things to get a different life. And either they make you comfortable or uncomfortable. I would rather be uncomfortable, because I know if I'm uncomfortable, I'm growing. I know those people want better outcomes. I want a better outcome. But they keep feeding the same thoughts, the same fears, the same excuses, and the same habits. You cannot create a new future, you guys, with an old mind. I know a lot of you came into this business, you're like, this is it. I'm going to take this business to an all new level. I'm going to change my life. And then as soon as it didn't happen as fast enough as you wanted, you're like, yeah, I'm out. No more for me. This is not working. Because we're a society of immediate results. Because now we have ChatGPT, we have Google. We can get any answer we want in a matter of seconds. Results are like this. But I'm telling you, that's not life. That's not business. You have to train your mind daily, just like you train your body. I go to the gym every single day. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate going to the gym. I don't enjoy it. I don't love it anymore. But I know that I have to do it for my health. You have to speak life into yourself every day. You have to remind yourself who you are daily. You have to guard what enters your mind every single day. And that could be the people that are around you and what they're saying to you. It could be the news. It could be the television. It could be podcasts. It could be whatever it is. It could be social media. Because whatever you watch on social media, it's just going to give you more. But you got to choose faith over fear daily. You got to be faithful that this business is going to take you where you want to go. Maybe it happens for you in 5 years. Maybe it happens in 3. Maybe it happens in 8. Because it could be that one person that saw you stuck with something long enough. They're like, I'm coming along for the ride, and they bring a bunch of people with them. And listen, when hard times come, because they're going to come, it's a test. That is not the time to let go of your routine. That is not the time to hold on to it even tighter. The hard times are when discipline matters the most in your life. The uncertain times are when belief matters most. Get on a testimonial call. Whenever you're questioning this, I'm telling you, every time I do a testimonial call, I'm just like, I go to my wife and I'm just like, it's crazy. Some of these testimonials, these are people that are customers, there's people that are in the business. They have no reason to get on and talk about how it changed their life. And the frustrating times, you guys, is when consistency matters the most. The quiet season are when actions matter the most. When it's quiet, your business is not growing, boom, start taking that action. Start calling people. Because anybody who could stay locked in when things are working, anybody can stay locked in when things are working. But I will tell you this. I'm watching the Masters right before this thing. Guys' round is falling apart. For you guys that don't know, Masters is like the Super Bowl of golf. It's the #1 golf tournament of the year that everyone wants to win. This guy shot a 9 on a par 5, which you never see a pro do. But this guy is a champion. Went to the next hole, birdie, birdie, par. Champions stay locked in when things are hard. That's the difference. So here's a couple closing tips before I go to a couple questions on how to stick with it and do it every single day, even during the hard times. Because a lot of things are hard. First, don't trust your feelings more than your commitments. Because this is the thing, our feelings change. Your commitments have to stay firm. Second thing I want to tell you is your daily non-negotiables. Whether it's prayer, meditation, reading, gratitude, journaling, eating right, talking to 2 people a day, or getting your mind right before the world gets to you, create a routine every day that grounds you and it protects it. The third thing, keep talking, taking action, even when you do not feel like it. This is the thing. When I don't feel like it, that's when I do it. When I don't feel like going to the gym, I do it. I go. I get out, I put my gym clothes on, and I go. I'm not going to say I like it. I'm not going to say I enjoy it. But when I'm finished, I'm glad that I did it. Because what I know is motion creates momentum. And I know that momentum creates belief. And then I know that belief grows through action, and it's not waiting. All right? And fourth thing, remind yourself what this is really about. This is bigger than a sale. This is bigger than a rank. This is bigger than a paycheck. This is bigger than a bad day. Everyone has a bad day. But this is about the life you are building, the people you are helping, and the legacy that you're creating and leaving. And also, it's the version of yourself that you are becoming. I promise you this, you guys. If you stick with this and you go through these things that I'm teaching you, the person you will be a year from now will be someone you don't recognize. And the last thing I want to say is stop expecting it to be easy. Because easy is not the goal. Everyone thinks everything needs to be easy or it's going to be easy. What's the goal is growth. The goal is expansion. Becoming is the goal. So I want to close out with this, you guys. You have to manage your mind. You got to protect your belief. You must stay disciplined. You must stay consistent. You must take action. And you must do it whether you feel like it or not. Because the life you want will not be built by emotion. Life is not about emotion. Matter of fact, emotion messes up a lot of things. It will be built by obedience to the right habit. It will be built by showing up on the days you do not want to show up. It'll be showing up and talking to those 2 people even though you're not in the mood. And it's going to be built by mastering this thing right here when fear tries to take over. And it's going to be built by refusing to quit. Because if you quit one thing, you're going to quit the next thing, you're going to quit the next thing, you're going to quit the next thing, and that just becomes a habit. It's going to be built one conversation, one follow-up, one referral, one disciplined day at a time. This is what I will tell you. I know from experience. Your future is not going to be decided by one big moment. It's going to be decided by what you do daily. Yeah, you might find that one big person that changes your business, you guys. But it was because you had a lot of conversations that you were prepared for that person to speak to them and talk to them. And it wasn't because, oh, I just found that right person. It was because you were prepared and ready to find that right person. It's going to be decided by what you do daily. So do me a favor, you guys. If you take anything out of this tonight, protect your mind. Guard your peace. Strengthen your belief. Stay in action every single day. And remember this. Motivation will start you, but discipline will carry you. And consistency will build your belief and expand you. And action is what's going to pay you. It's action. It's talking to people. It's having conversations. It's going to the gym. It's taking care of your body. It's taking care of your mind. I want to win with you guys so bad. I want to see all of you win. And so I want to open this up. If you guys have a couple questions about anything that I taught, I want to open it up for you. I have to let my interpreter go at 8 o'clock sharp. But if you guys have any questions, comments, I would love to hear them. I've got maybe 10 minutes. So any questions? Jonah, you are the most consistent individual I've ever seen in my entire life, brother. This guy, it doesn't matter where he's at. He's on a bike. He's somewhere. He's always on these calls. Great job, my friend. Always showing up. Any questions in the chat, you guys? Lola, Evelyn, don't be shy, you guys.
Nope, no questions on my side.
All right. Well, listen, you guys, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being a part of this. I think we have 10 tickets left to our event. If you guys want, you guys can finance it. You guys can pay 4 payments. But I know we have some people coming from the UK and from Spain. So we have like 10 places in the house, or 10 beds in the house. Is that right, Lola?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys want to come to that, I would love to see you. It's going to be very intimate. We're going to have a lot of fun. So if you guys want to join that, and thank you for being a part of this. I look forward to meeting all of you guys in the future, hopefully. If you ever see me at an event or a conference or whatever, please come up to me and say hello, and so we can introduce each other. Thank you guys so much. Have a great, great night.